Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Legendary Leaders. I am your host, Katrina Jameson. I'm the founder of Legend Leaders, where we arm female business leaders with the strategies they need to live life on their terms, a legend life. Let's wrap up this non-negotiable list, shall we? That's what we've been working on this entire month. You've learned how to create your non-negotiable list. You understand now why this list is so valuable, right? This list allows you to have detailed priorities such that you can decide what matters to you when you have competing demands. You don't allow your career or the world to define it for you. You get to decide. So you've been making this list the entire month. You've got family time on there. You've got people and events that matter to you. You added yourself to the list last week. And this week we're going to wrap it up with your career, creating boundaries at work. Because what is a non-negotiable? Another word for a non-negotiable, right? Something that you're not going to allow to happen. It could also be defined as a boundary, right? I'm not going to allow something to cross over into this. I'm not going to allow this to take over this space in my life. And so let's talk about your career. Let's talk about work. Because even at work, we must have non-negotiables and we must have boundaries. Now you may be thinking, hold on, Katrina. Let's talk about this for a second. Let me think through this. You've told me this whole time that I must have this non-negotiable list because the majority of the time my career is going to come knocking, and this non-negotiable list is going to help me make sure that I don't allow my career to overstep and overtake parts of my life that really matter. And that's right. You got it. You nailed it. That's exactly what we've been talking about. And so then inherently you're thinking, okay, good, well, that makes sense, but now why are we adding career to the list? If career is the one that's going to be competing, why am I adding career to the list? Well, look at it this way. You have a career and you have intentions and things that you want to achieve and do inside of your career just as much as you have events and things that you want to do in your personal life, right? They both matter to you. Both of these worlds define who you are. And just like you don't want to have any regrets in your personal life, you don't want to live with regrets in your career. There are things that you want to do and give and people you want to serve. And if we're not intentionally clear about what that is, you could very well miss out on some of those things as well. So let's just be honest. Let's just keep it real. We're not going to negate your career. We're not going to negate the value of it with this non-negotiable list. We're going to make sure that on the list are the key things that matter to you. And therefore, we have to include bits and pieces about your career. But the way we're going to do that is we're going to think about it through the lens of a boundary. Okay? Now, here's what I mean by that. Let me walk you through a couple things to get your brain going down this pathway. And then when I finish, you're going to add some of these details to your list, and then you're going to have your list ready to roll, right? You're going to be ready to execute against this list. A career boundary could be things like doing the following. Here's what I want you to do. And I'll pause for just a second because I want to say this in the right way. Let me just tell you how I want you to do it, and let me explain to you why. Probably the easiest thing. What I want you to do is I want you to look at your career or the company or whatever it is. If you own your own business or you work for a corporation, either way, I want you to look at that and I want you to think about where you'd like to be in 3 years' time. What does that look like to you? Okay? You have to have a vision for where you want to take your portion of the company or the company that you own. Because what's going to happen is that between now and the end of the 3rd year, just like it happens when you walk into work today, someone's going to come to you and say, hey, we need to create this new product line. Or, hey, we need you to take over this new project. Or, hey, we want to promote you and put you over this other team. And your first reaction, without a clear vision or plan, is going to be, oh, okay. Because usually we can't say no. We haven't thought through it. Someone's coming to us with certainty and confidence that this is the path we need to take. And because we haven't thought about it, we just agree, typically. Usually our first answer is to agree. And then we start to think about it, and then we reflect, and then we come back with a different answer. Why not go ahead and have some of it worked out now so that you can have some good dialogue when that conversation arises? Because it will. It always does. And so what I want you to do, again, is think about where you want your career or company or portion of the company to be about 3 years from now. What do you want to be doing? What position do you want to hold? Who do you want to be serving? Define those things. They matter. And once you have that clearly defined, then what I want you to understand is any project or opportunity or product line or focus point or customer group that doesn't fit in to that vision, you need to have a very active discussion about those opportunities. Okay? Great example. Let's say that you love working for the company that you work for. Say you're an employee, you're a senior leader in an organization, but you don't enjoy people leadership. You don't want to lead people. It's just not your thing. Perfectly fine. It's not everybody's thing. It doesn't have to be. But let's say it's not your thing. And you have people coming and asking you to take over a team because you've done phenomenally well with this other project and you've created all of these fantastic results, and they want you to go lead this other team and teach them how to achieve similar results. Well, if in your 3-year vision, you're abundantly clear that you do not want to be a people leader, then that's a good conversation that you can have. That's a non-negotiable. I'm not taking over that team. I'll be happy to compromise. I'll be happy to go in and teach them, but I'm not going to be responsible for them. See how defining where you want to be over the next 3 years and what type of leader you want to be in the organization and who you want to serve and how you want to do it matters? Because if you went and led that team, you could very well be miserable. You know yourself very well. And if it's something you simply do not want to do, not because you have a fear of it, but because it's not a desire, it's not something you want, it's not a passion that you have, then that's a non-negotiable. That's a boundary that goes on your list when it comes to your career. I'm not going to lead a team. I'll be happy to train a team. I'll be happy to meet with them once a week or once a month, teach them everything that I know. I'll mentor them, perfectly fine. But I am not going to be responsible for the day-to-day actions of a team. That is nothing that I want. Okay? That matters. If you own your own business and your partner comes to you and says, your business partner says, hey, let's go ahead. I've got this great idea. I'm going to create this new product. We're going to go serve these customers over here. It's a completely new customer base for us. If that's not where you saw the company going, because you have that vision and you know what role you want to play and where you want to take the company, you can have a better conversation around it and try to find a compromise. And that's your goal. That is why these boundaries are important. Same reason that non-negotiables are important, because without the list, you don't know where to draw the line. You're just going to blindly say yes. You're going to keep moving forward, and you're going to live a life that someone else defined for you. You're going to let the corporate world or the world as a whole tell you where you need to be and what you need to do and what memories, experiences, adventures, and life events you need to participate in. There are no rules that say you must be a people leader. There are no rules that say you must create this new product line in your business. You must have 3 or 4 or whatever arbitrary number someone comes up with if you own a business relative to product lines. No. You make those rules. So make those rules now. Create those boundaries. Define the non-negotiables for yourself when it comes to your career path. And then the conversation just needs to happen. Just like the conversation is going to happen if they ask you to work late all week. You're going to have a conversation with someone to say, hey, look, I can't work late all week. I do have some family things I need to take care of. I can work late 2 nights a week, and then I've got to go take care of some family things. I can get back online, after 9 o'clock, right? That's your choice. You can say that if you choose to. But I can't do it. I can't do it 5 nights a week this week. Here's what I'm able to do, right? And you discuss. And it's an active discussion, and you compromise. But you seek the compromise because you know what matters. You already have your list of priorities, your non-negotiables created for you, and that is anchoring you in, and it's going to guide your conversations. Now, a little caveat, because you may be thinking, Katrina, cool, I've got my list, but what if I go in and say, hey, look, I can't work 5 nights a week, and they say, oh, you're going to, you have to, we don't have a choice. Then you can still have that discussion. You can still make some decisions. You may work it and be like, I hate this company, I'm leaving, right? You may have a discussion with someone else, but it allows you to understand and make better decisions. That's the point. It empowers you to make better decisions. No regrets. That's where you're going to be. Okay? Go ahead and finish out your list. by adding the boundaries or non-negotiables when it comes to your career, realizing and understanding that this list is evolving, is changing, it's not set in stone. As you grow, as your friendships grow and change, and your relationships grow and change, and life changes, as your career of the business grows and changes, so too will all of these things on your list. That's normal. It's expected. Okay? Make your first edit. Make your first version, rather. Create version 1 of your non-negotiable list. Run it. And then add things and take things off as you move through life. But now you have a frame of reference that is empowering you to live your life, your way, no regrets, your terms. Go finish up that list. And as always, go and be legendary.